U.S. Supreme Court attacks the First Amendment on behalf of Israel. Let's get into the article. So the U.S. Supreme Court allowed the attacks against the First Amendment, the right to free speech, and the right to protest in a case that involved private companies against state governments. Let's get into this dangerous story. So what's the story? Over 35 decrepit state governments in the United States, and these are state governments throughout the United States, meaning in the South, in the West, Northeast, throughout the United States. They passed laws forcing people and businesses, including government contractors that want to do business with the state, to sign pledges. What were these pledges? These pledges were saying that they wouldn't boycott the genocidal and apartheid state of Israel. That's what the pledges were for. Some people and businesses protested these pledges, saying that they were unconstitutional, citing that this was the government attacking their First Amendment rights because this was the government forcing them to sign these pledges. And so they said that this is against the First Amendment rights. This is attacking my free speech, and this is attacking my right to protest. Again, this is the state governments that are doing this. One case from Arkansas made its way up to the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court. And this past Tuesday, the U.S. Supreme Court announced that it was not going to hear the case, meaning it declined to hear the appeal of the Arkansas company, thereby siding with state courts who attack people's First Amendment, including Arkansas, which said this company had to sign the Israeli pledge that they would be loyal to Israel, the state of Israel, the genocidal and apartheid state of Israel. And so this is a dangerous precedent that was set, whereby you have state governments forcing you to show fealty and loyalty to a foreign nation. And it shows you how deeply ingrained Israel and its lobbying is in the U.S., where it can attack people's rights, including their free speech and their right to protest. China, which is America's second largest trading partner by a wide margin, doesn't even receive this level of allegiance from Americans. And yet here are these state governments pressing their citizenry to pledge fealty and loyalty to this genocidal and apartheid government. And this by itself is bad enough. It's very evil. It's very dangerous. People are also saying that this dangerous precedent opens up laws where people and companies are forced to pledge to oil companies, gun makers, and other corporate and special interests. So this right here, these state laws have opened up, and these state laws and the United States Supreme Court not intervening and shooting these bullshit laws down have opened up new potential laws from these same state governments against other corporate and special interests. So this is just one of many steps. And yet the U.S. Supreme Court had an opportunity to step in and say, no, this is not constitutional. This goes against the Americans' First Amendment right, the right to free speech and the right to protest. But it didn't do that. What instead it did is it said it was not going to hear the case. It declined to hear the appeal. And so this is a very dangerous precedent that the state governments have taken part in. They're the ones that are guilty. The U.S. Supreme Court is also involved in this, and they're also guilty in this for deciding not to hear the case. And this is just a very dangerous precedent that has future ramifications. Well, what do you guys think about this story? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this story. If you're listening to this on the podcast, tweet me. Let me know what you think about this story there. Take care.